Hey Landwalkers, this is Jaime from IToldYouIWasSick.com, and this is another video in this series, Why Autistic People Do That. However, this is going to also be a bonus video. This is bonus video number 2, and this one is going to be about something that I learned very recently, which has been incredibly eye-opening and helpful for me. Recently, I went through an incident of somebody very vehemently not believing I'm autistic, even though they've known me for a long time. And that put me in a very bad place emotionally. And I was very honest about it and sharing about it on Instagram because I am very open on that social media platform. And somebody made a very, 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 very good point to me. And I don't think I ever really understood until now. But one of the primary reasons I believe, and this person believes, and it all makes sense, that there are people who do not believe I'm autistic, is because I communicate very well in written ways. Obviously not verbal, as you can tell. Sorry, let me try that again. I communicate very well through the written word, and I do communicate pretty well verbally. It can be tough for me, but I'm not bad at it. And when I do a video, I'm usually pretty good because I'm not talking to a person, I'm talking to a camera. So it's pretty easy. So this person said, basically the way you talk about things makes it seem like you know a lot more about them than you do. Now, this person is not the first person to tell me this. I've had other people tell me that people don't take me seriously with being autistic or having learning disabilities because they hear me speak and my output is great, or they read my writing and the output again is great. It's articulate, it's college level, say. Whereas my ability to take in information, I might as well be sitting on the floor with blocks. That's something that I think is a huge, huge disconnect between my ability to communicate outward and my ability to process the information, and also why people look at me sideways and can't take me seriously when I say I don't understand them. You can say something relatively simple to me. I wish I could think of an example, but I can't. And I will look at you with this blank, glaze-eyed stare, and I really won't understand what you're saying because I have sensory processing issues. If there's a tone in your voice that is negative, sarcastic, irritated, I will tune you out so fast. And part of that has to do with my PTSD as well. So the tone of a person's voice, the intent, can sometimes cause me to completely tune out. So if you try to explain something to me, it may be the simplest thing in the world to you, but I don't understand it. But if you've heard me speak or you've seen me write, you're thinking to yourself, she has to be pretending to not know what's going on, which to me is very unfair because that's not the way the human brain works. There are people who have had brain injuries where the artistic side of their brain works really well, but the mathematical side doesn't work at all, or they are mute or for some reason, but yet they can write really well. So each part of the brain does different things, and not everybody knows this. So it's not common knowledge. It's common knowledge for me because I've done so much studying on the brain. But to give you an example, I experienced an incident when I was a child where I was hit. I shouldn't even say an incident because I've been hit in the head more times than I can count. And when I was a child, I also banged my head against walls more times than I can count. So I have brain damage. And so parts of my brain work really well. Obviously, the communication portion works fine, but my ability to intake that information and hold on to it is so bad. I wish I could explain. It's hard for me to explain this, that I can put out college level material, and then when I take it in, it's like my brain is trying to process, and you can almost see the gears turning very slowly as I try to grasp what's being said to me and then filter it through my senses. And then I'm sitting there like in the video that I talked about before, where I can't find anything if there's too much information, I start panicking if I don't get something right away. So if I don't understand what someone's saying and I feel comfortable around them, I'll say I don't understand. But if I don't feel comfortable around them and they don't really know me very well, I panic because I'm like, I don't want to explain to this person that I don't understand or that I'm autistic, or I just don't feel like getting into the explanation. So I sit there and my brain just goes, oh my God, I don't understand this. How do I convey that I don't understand without looking like I'm either stupid or pretending to be stupid, which is just horrible. I mean, I don't like that word, but it's like, okay, what do I do? And so I'll say, I didn't quite understand you. Can you phrase that another way or whatever? But it just doesn't seem to work very well. And it causes me a lot of problems. So on top of not understanding or grasping what someone's saying, and this doesn't happen all the time because there are plenty of times when I'm having a conversation and I understand the person fine, but especially when it's instructions on how to do something, or somebody tells me to do things that have more than 3 steps, or they just explain like they're telling a story, but they're leaving out information. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, actually. A lot of people tell stories from emotion. And so they'll be like, I walked into the store, I did this, this happened, and this happened. And for a very, very, very long time, I would stop the person in the middle of this emotional story and be like, but wait, when did you get out of the car to get into the store? And granted, that's an example, so it's a really poor one, but it's like I need all of those detailed pieces of information in order to form a picture in my head of what you're saying to me. If I can't do that, you lose me. So I might be nodding and smiling, but there's nothing going on up here. And I think that's where the disconnect comes, is that I'm really good at explaining this stuff, but I can't understand it. So I'm really excited and happy and emotional about the fact that somebody was able to point this out to me. And for the first time, I was actually able to understand what they meant and translate it into words that come out of my mouth so that other people can understand it. But for the longest time, I couldn't do that. And I think that it's true. I think that people who are articulate and well-spoken and they write well, if they're on the autism spectrum, they may not be taken nearly as seriously as somebody who has a more obvious deficit in communication, like, maybe stuttering or going mute, which happens to me, but not often. I feel like I'm just kind of going on a tangent here. This has been my struggle, and someone finally put a name to it, and it means a lot to me. So if this is something that you struggle with, if you are an articulate autistic, and you notice that people have trouble believing that you even are on the spectrum, please comment below. Let me know you're out there, because I know there are more of you. So I'm going to end this video. It's getting a little bit long, but this is one of the most important things that I have figured out thus far in my life. So I'm very, very grateful to the person who pointed it out, and I'm very grateful that my brain finally processed it and translated it. So this is a bonus video. I will leave a link in the description for all the videos that I've done so far. And please feel free to like, comment, and share, and subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a ton of these. So without further ado, I will let you go, and I will see you in the next video.